Hi everyone, and welcome back to our series on the Google Suite. And so today we are going to go over how to create a Google Doc. Now, that might seem pretty simple, but Google Docs has a different way of saving. So we're going to jump in and take a look at their way of saving, and let's see what that looks like. So here we are on the Google Drive screen. And as you know, we are at home. And so this is kind of what you see at home. But if you click on My Drive, and you will see what My Drive looks like. Again, I have the 9th grade, 10th grade, and my first folder. If you don't know how to use Google Drive, there is a link in one of the cards above me that will take you to that training of how to use Google Drive and the foldering as well. So we have the 9th grade folder, 10th grade folder, and my first folder. Now, Google Drive is a little different than Microsoft Office. So if you're used to Microsoft Office, then what you're going to do is Microsoft Office, you just create a document and then you save later. Google Docs is a little different. Google Docs, you will navigate to the folder that you want to save it in and then create the document. Let me show you. So let's say we're in 9th grade and we want to create a document. I will navigate to the 9th grade folder and then I will create a new document that way. That way it will save in the 9th grade folder. If I am here on My Drive and I click New and then create Google Docs, what it's going to do is create that Google Docs in the My Drive folder. And then I will have to additionally move it later into the 9th grade folder. So to prevent that confusion, or to prevent you having a bunch of files here in My Drive, go ahead and first navigate to the folder and then create the new Google Doc. So there are different ways of creating a Google Doc. We can click on New, go to Google Docs, and click here. If I click here, it's going to automatically create a new full file here, a Google Doc here. I could also do New and then click on this arrow where I can do a blank document or from a template. If I click blank document, it's going to open up just like it did before in this blank document here. Now, nothing is saving because I'm not giving it enough time to actually save the file. So we'll save it here in a second. But I just wanted to kind of show you those two different ways. There's a third way that you can open a Google Doc, and that's just to right click here in the open space, go down to Google Doc, and again, you have click here, it'll open up the Google Doc, or click the arrow where you get the blank document or from a template. So there are multiple ways that you can create a new doc. I'm going to go ahead and click on, I'm in 9th grade, make sure I'm in the correct folder. I'm going to go ahead and click New, and then New Document, click the arrow to a blank document. So here is a blank document. That means there's no templates, there's nothing in there. It's simply just a blank document with a blinking cursor. There are several things that you can do from a blank document perspective. One of the first things and most important things is to go ahead and name it. So let's just say this is going to be a report. Let's see here on United States. I'm going to write a report on the United States. So here's my report on that. All I simply did to rename it was to click up in that space here and then start typing. Once I click away, you can see it says saving, save to drive, and it is saved. Here is where you can do templates, meeting notes, email draft, and there's a lot more that you could do. So let's take a look at each one of these separately. Templates, we're going to do a complete video on templates. That's the next video. So subscribe and like if you want to see that video. Let's go and look at meeting notes. Notice as I just hover, this kind of gives me a glimpse of what meeting notes is going to look like. And if I want to keep that, just click on it and it'll stay on there. I also can do a quick email draft, and right here you can see we're at the person, CC, BCC, subject, and then what's the email message if you kind of want to draft it before you actually send it. So that's there as well. There's also more. So if we click more, you'll see this side panel pop up and it says building blocks. Basically, we can insert these individual building blocks to help us write more. So these are the featured ones: meeting notes and email drafts. We saw those above there, but there's also communication, again, email drafts, meetings, meeting notes. We've seen that many times now. And then there's a simple decision log. And here's where you can actually, there's statuses, and I don't want to move my mouse, but if you look in the middle of the screen, you can see topic, decision, owner, who owns that, status, and that every one of those statuses can actually be changed into those different ones: not started, in progress, blocked, approved. So this is a simple decision log that you could use. Just click on it and it will insert it right into your doc. There's also a detailed decision log. So this is added by what person, the topic, the decisions, the notes, the owners, status again, and last updated. So there's a little bit more on there. If you like that, simply click insert. So those are the meeting ones. The other building blocks that we have is the project management building blocks, and we'll scroll down a little bit here, and you'll see you got the review tracker, team directory, and all of these there are moving parts within, like role. You can select engineering, design, sales. You can insert the place, location, the person. So all of these are actually interactive pieces to the Google Doc that you see here. And any of these you can use just by clicking insert. And then finally, contact list. So you have the contacts of persons and applicants and sales. So there's a lot of things that you can add to your Google Doc without much effort with that. I also want you to notice across the top, we have the star. So you can star reports on a report on United States. There's also a move button. So let's say you did insert it into the Google Drive and you want to move it in My Drive, you want to move it to the 9th grade folder. Well, that's one place to do that. Just click on that folder, and then from there you can move it. You also have this See Document Status, and that document status tells you if it's ready for offline use or not. In this case, it's not ready for offline use. All right, just for simplicity's sake, let's go over here and click on one of these meeting ones. So let me click on a project management and just click review tracker. Put that in there. As you can see, it just goes right in there when I hit insert, and then I am able to adjust all of the pieces to this. As you can see, I can just make notes to that. Notice also it does say saving. So let me, if you'll look up here, when I change this to, let's say, in progress, notice it says saving. That's one thing about Google Docs, is that this saves automatically. You don't have to push any save buttons. It is important though to look to make sure it is saved, but this saves automatically. You don't have to worry about, did I save that document? That's the wonderful thing about Google Docs that a lot of people do like, is that it does save automatically. If I can move that back to not started, you'll see that it says saving again. And then of course you can always see that all changes are saved to Drive so that you know you're not going to lose your work. Now, if you're offline with this one, I'm not going to be able to access it offline. I'll show you the online offline access later in a different video, but this video is simply just to talk about how to get started with a Google Doc. Now, we are not going to go over all of the features of the template, but if I go back to my Drive here, notice that Google Doc opened in a new browser tab. So if I go back to this browser tab, I can go to my 9th grade, and here's my report on United States. I can create another one, and I can click on this, or hover actually over this arrow and go from a template. And so here's all of the templates, and we can create from a template. Again, the next video that comes out will be about templates, so we're not going to dive too much into that, but I did want you to see what the templates look like. I hope this video helps you understand what a Google Doc is, how to save it, how to create one, and how to make sure it's in the proper folder. Next, we're going to talk about templates. So I'll see you in the next video.